All right, so one of our big stories tonight is the passing of former President Jerry Rawlings, the longest-serving president of that nation. And we now hear from a Ghanaian living in South Africa, and his spokesperson of the Concern Ghanaians in the diaspora, Yakub Moro. Thanks so much indeed, and welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Peter.
All right, there are a number of Ghanaians living in South Africa. How have they received the news of the passing of your former president?
The news came to us in a shockwave. Like, no one expected it and no one saw it coming. And looking at the former president, you know, he's a military, ex-military. He's an ex-military leader, and then the strength, almost like you can never associate death with him. So when we heard it, we thought it's just a hoax or fake information that was ongoing. Until later on, we had a confirmation from our current president, His Excellency President Anna, who confirmed it. Then there's been a big tragedy that has happened in the country. And if we can just move a little back, barely 2 months ago, the former president lost his own mother. And then within a month, he had a state barrier service for the mother. So it's less than like 3 weeks, and the son himself is gone. This is a very big blow that goes out to all the Ghanaians, regardless of the political village that you are in.
All right, so we've been talking to a number of people this evening, and many of them contributing in terms of his political legacy and contribution to the country. How will you remember him as a man, as a human being?
Honestly, I will remember him as being the founder of our democracy, aside Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. You know, Jerry Rawlings rose to power using the gun in a coup. If he was someone, he wouldn't have relinquished power. He wouldn't even allow us to enjoy or taste democracy. Nevertheless, he gave us that freedom for us to enjoy that freedom, the freedom of democracy. So that alone speaks volume. And then also during his tenure, corruption in Ghana was honestly minimal as compared to currently what we have. So he is the kind of leader who always wants things to be done as expected of everyone. Recently, a video of him went viral. He's not even a traffic cop in Ghana. He was on the highway. There was a big traffic on the street. He got out from his car and started directing the traffic. It was even marvelous. Like, whatever he does, everyone feel like doing it. Regardless of the political party, he's the only unifier we currently have, aside Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. With him passing away, you know, we've lost a great leader. Just wish maybe the current leadership can emulate the spirit Jerry Rawlings holds. So at least we still maintain that unity and peace that we have in the country.
The story that you've just described reminds me of the man that I met, in that, you know, a lot of people rise to power and they become presidents, and I'll call it the Oga syndrome, where they put on these airs and graces, but I always got a sense that he was always down to earth, even though he occupied the highest office in the land.
Exactly. Even when maybe they are constructing or building roads, any kind of infrastructure that is ongoing in the country, you'll find him in his military attire at the forefront, digging trenches, like the railways, everything. He is involved. You never see him sitting in the air conditioning in the comfort of his home or in the V8 car. He's always on the ground. So that is the kind of a leader that we need, especially in Africa, if we are to talk about the United States of Africa. Without him, it will be very difficult for us to achieve such.
I also think that perhaps his voice wasn't heard as much in recent years as it could have been, as someone perhaps who had traveled a long journey and had lots of things to share. What do you think he would be saying to Ghanaians in 2020?
The only way that his voice wasn't heard was because of his wife. The wife was part of the NDC, which is the National Democratic Congress, which was formed by both Jerry Rawlings and the wife, Nana Akufo-Addo Rawlings. So the wife decided to establish her own political party and is even contesting for the presidency on December 7th. So then, Rawlings, being the leader, the founding father of NDC, can't just violate the duties of his wife. He still has to divide himself into two, give one part to the NDC and then give one part for his wife. Currently, his daughter is one MP representing the NDC in Parliament. So he was in a difficult situation, and then his son also is having an affair with the current president. So it's like there's nothing much that he can do. He has to always be underground and do what he has to do. We have even expected him to be at the forefront of the electoral process. But then you don't see, because there are a lot of commitment to being the father at home and then supporting the wife also.
What are you going to miss most?
It's a lot. It's a lot. The charisma, the way he speaks, everything about him is marvelous. It's unreplaceable. Everything. Especially when he sees corruption. The one thing that he's always that fights corruption. He doesn't mind just barging into office without even sending the delegation. He himself will that forward to make sure things are being done as expected. So with him gone, honestly, it's simply unreplaceable. Every single second of our life will be a remembrance of the former president.
All right. You know what? There's so much, I guess, we could talk about, but it's a difficult time for you and many Ghanaians reflecting on the loss of such a giant man, not just in stature, but I think in his presence as well. But thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight and giving us a moment to get a reflection from you.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. And our condolence also goes to Mr. Makwetu's family.
Yes,
the
indeed.
Auditor General as well. That great leaders are just vanishing from the continent. These are the crucial moments we need as people. Let's just pray that the Almighty keeps protecting us against it.
Okay, thank you so much, Yakub Moro. Okay, so that's the view of a Ghanaian, spokesperson of the Concerned Ghanaians in the diaspora, saying that this is a huge loss to Ghanaians and that the kind of person that Jerry Rawlings was is irreplaceable.